And
Go time.
yes.
We're
We
here.
are
We
we are
made it.
here.
We are
We
we are tens and tens of seconds late, but we've
I
arrived. I don't know. This has been a week of a week. I mean, this last week has
uh,
been like the longest fiscal quarter of my entire life.
it's been a very it's no way to I
Let me throw this
I'm
out here too, because again, I mean, I think we kind of write off some of this stuff and we make it sound like, oh, just what a little bummer. People need to get over it.
yeah.
As I get older, daylight savings time takes longer and longer and longer to recover from.
Yeah, it hit me pretty hard this like by Tuesday Monday, Tuesday was like,
As if
really?
I wasn't already dealing with enough in the midst of everything that's going on right now. I also have to lose an hour. And you see, I don't really get to like acclimate because I've got a 5-year-old and I'm sure it messes up your son's internal clock
Oh,
too. I
yep.
mean, the ripple and the cascade effect of this just seems to go on and on. And now it's not like, I can even just like let me just go to the mall and hang out and I'll write some scripts in a coffee shop or something like that. It's just like doubly compounded in the current year that we're
It
experiencing.
is, and I think I think the biggest impact part of it. I think last year when this happened, it was at the beginning of the current situation, right, where things were changing, right. So we really didn't feel it as much. We were already kind of like our minds were very much
Mhm.
concerned and everything. This year we're in it. We're home, having to wake up that extra early, or we're in reality. Yeah, we were waking up an hour earlier. Changing when you're trying to go back to sleep, the whole the days are a little bit longer. There's a whole kind of thing changes us. And
Mhm.
like you said, yeah, life doesn't change, but we have to adjust. And getting old sucks. That's all I have to say.
It really does. And I mean, I almost wanted to suggest that we call this this week's show "The Calm Before the Storm."
Yep.
Because we're right on the precipice. I mean, you're already rocking. It's not like you ever really got a chance to stop because you're going
It
Asus, you're going Oppo. We
is.
know OnePlus is going to be right around the corner. I'm
I
hoping.
Yeah.
I'm putting money aside for Red Magic. I'm so
Red
anxious
Magic, I
about.
think, is gonna. I'm very excited. I've always been very excited with what they do because of their approach to gaming is very different than what Asus does, right?
Mhm.
So they're not just coming at it from the sense of the let's just make.
599.
They're saying, look, we're gonna sell it, and we're gonna do a good job at it, and we're gonna come in with a really good price. So I mean, we already know a lot of the specifications of what they're doing, but they're uh, I mean, seriously, man, the refresh rate is okay. So I'll take that back. It's not faster than my biggest monitor on the bottom, but it's faster than my top monitor. It's a
Yeah.
144 right there. Like, why would yes. So ROG, Red Magic for
We're
sure.
all over the place. And I'm still trying to cover like some budget phones. Like I've got this Motorola and it's so cute. And Republic Wireless sent it out to me. And you're like,
Mhm.
this is crazy. Republic Wireless is supporting 5G. And it's just like, I know there's so much snowballing right now. I
Oh, did you
I
see
really
the Motorola
yes, that
the
too.
the
Because
that
I
the
didn't
best
get
I didn't get a
the
chance to
ready
get the
for.
name. The ready for. I'm like, so their desktop experience, so essentially their own decks. Like it's not Android desktop, it's their own version of it. This is seriously a competitor now, a
Yeah.
third competitor to EMUI desktop and Dex. So very intriguing approach. So, but yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
And no, but that's exactly the situation that we're in right now, where it's
And it's going to keep getting more and more.
yeah. I mean, there are so many of those things that I would love to dedicate like an entire week to, and if I did, then I'd be booked through the end of the year.
There, yeah. Uh,
Because I also want to cover like just other things and gadgets and audio and oh,
well,
it's absolutely crazy.
dude, I even have a chair I have to finish reviewing on. I got a nice office chair from Flexi Spot.
You got that one. Okay,
Yes.
they sent out a message to me and I was like, "Hey, I'd love to talk about that chair because I really do feel like it's time to get rid of the gaming chair."
Hmm.
Um, they never got back to me. So I'm gonna hit them up again because
Okay.
it looks like an excellent chair. I
Super,
really want to play with it.
super, super, super comfortable. Like like
Ah,
there's
damn, I need that.
it takes, so there's nothing wrong with the gaming chair. I like my gaming chair and all of that, but I mean, it's not a comfortable chair. I'm not gonna sit here and say this is a comfortable. It's a gaming chair. It's intended to be for
Mhm.
gaming. So I don't think comfort is ever intended to be there. I mean, there's a recline, there's a kickstand, all of the bells and whistles there. But the chair from FlexiSpot seriously is super comfortable, because the desk that I have back there is also a FlexiSpot desk. So they were, nice enough there to reach out, and I'm like, yeah, sure, let me check it out. And easy to set up, easy to put together. And so I'm trying to shoot for a video hopefully next week for them, but my wife's gonna take it at the end. I thought I was gonna,
That's
but nah.
that's a good man. Because
Yeah,
we're shopping another chair for Marie, but I think that's gonna be a little big for her office setup. So we're gonna have to see
uh,
what we
it
can
adjusts
there.
the well, yeah, I'll let you guys figure it. Yeah, no, once you I'll give you a little bit more, maybe once let's spend a little bit more time with, like I said, it's in Vanya's office. I need to do the
Oh,
b-roll
no,
and
I
stuff.
mean, the thing is, and like I said, they did reach out. So you get your wife hooked up. You don't worry about me. I'm gonna be easy like Sunday morning. It's just it looked really cool. Like,
It,
again, I like all the mesh, the really light, airy panels. Anyway,
yeah,
welcome to the best of our week. As you
I
can
was gonna
tell,
say, yeah, we didn't even start right.
this is gonna be one of those kinds of episodes, because we're wiped out. In fact, TK and I are seriously considering just turning this into a Tetris stream, and we can kind of chat out in between rounds what's going on with whatever you want to talk about. Like OnePlus 9 is obviously a hot topic right now. We're a week
For a phone
before.
that's coming out, I've never seen a company leak the entire thing. Like literally the
You know,
entire.
the conversation, especially when they put out all of their big slides on the camera tech,
Yep.
that to me felt so much like the way that we were just talking ASUS and Red Magic. I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
think it's hilarious. Red Magic tells you everything about the phone, and then it's like, oh, but the real announcement's coming in a couple weeks. And you're like, yeah, but you already told us everything about the phone. And you're like, we know everything about the phone. There's nothing left to tell. Oh, but March 23rd, or something is going to be an important day. This felt like the same kind of play from OnePlus. Like, a lot of our big questions on what these phones are going to do, I
It's
feel, have been at least kind of alluded to
Yeah,
what's
no,
probably going to happen.
and once the House of Blood thing kind of came out, we understood obviously the very much they're emphasizing on camera performance. They're trying to bring that in. The little surprise of the OnePlus Watch being teased out as well. They had a little bit of a teaser video there on their account. I read somewhere on XDA that I think that they're saying it's not going to run Wear OS, so it's going to be proprietary software. That's very, very different. I would have imagined OnePlus going full Wear OS first before going proprietary. But we'll have to see how they bring it. Is it going to be something that, like, similar to what Oppo used to have in the Chinese market, or is it going to be something uh, a la Huawei kind of thing, more like fitness band OS running on a smartwatch looking kind of thing? We'll have to see.
I still think that there's an outside chance it could end up like something like the original TicWatch, where
Okay.
it's an Android or Wear OS kernel that's
Mhm.
then heavily customized.
Could be.
You
Yeah.
know, I don't think that's likely. I'm not saying that's likely, but I still think, given everything that we know about OnePlus, there's an outside chance they could do something silly like that. But when I did Daniel Bader's the Android Central
Mhm.
podcast, he asked me, like, well, what do you think we're going to see from OnePlus, and what do you want to see in a OnePlus 9? And honestly, I want to see a OnePlus 8 Pro
Mhm.
mildly refined,
The 9
and
Pro, you
that's
mean?
it. No, I mean, I want a OnePlus 8 Pro,
Yes, yeah. You
just
wanted my.
just
Yeah.
a little bit tweaked,
Mhm.
and I'm good. I really feel people slept on the OnePlus 8 Pro last year. They kind of gave it the early treatment
Yep.
with, like, the pre-embargo and the embargo software, the launch software. It took a couple updates to really get that phone cooking.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it out more and more as a premium tier camera competitor, as a very solid content creation device.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really been like a nice phone to use, especially considering that it competes on many points with more expensive Samsungs and the higher tier iPhones, but it was sort of like, the entry level S20 price point of its time.
Oh,
It's
it started
hilarious.
around that, and even then, now if you wanted to pick it up, it's even better price point on it, and it's still actually a very capable device if you think about it. The 865 is
699.
yeah, no, it's crazy with the level of the speed and the RAM and all of that. Well, that's the OnePlus 8, right?
Oh, this is the Pro. My
Oh, the
OnePlus.
Pro. Oh, okay. So the angle you were holding it before, it almost looked like that Aurora glow that was on the
Oh,
8.
yeah.
Remember that super
Yeah.
reflective? Um,
I'll take it out of the case.
I see Michael Peppertech is in the chat, My Tech Reviews, Jason, Gary's in there, and of course the appearance of the OnePlus 8 Pro, a la some gadget guy. So it's good.
Yeah, I feel like if you can give me nearly that same experience, one of the best ultra wide cameras that has ever been put on a phone ever,
Mhm.
one of the best main sensor cameras, I would like to see them tweak telephoto. I feel like the little mini telephoto sensor that they use, there's nothing
Mhm.
fancy, there's no periscope. I
No,
don't
no.
think we're going to see that, but it would be nice if maybe they could tweak it with a slightly larger sensor, or
Mhm.
maybe a slightly higher resolution sensor. I don't even, it would be kind of cool if they did the Samsung trick. Maybe not as extreme with a 64
Four.
megapixel, but like if you gave us like somewhere in there, just a higher resolution or more pixel dense sensor to help with the crop zoom
Especially
on
when you, yeah.
something like that, could be kind of cool. I don't know that they'll do that, but uh,
I think if anything, I think they're probably going to just focus on the primary and the ultra wide, which I think was the biggest focus for them from before.
well, and
So
definitely their strongest section. I mean, if
yeah.
Samsung is kind of taking the lead from Huawei with the telephoto kit,
Mhm.
I don't know anyone who's competing against OnePlus for ultra wide right now.
Not a lot, no. And I think if, like I said, the biggest trick that OnePlus can pull this year is, like you said, refresh the 8, bring in the 9 with a better, obviously an entry level, and then of course just again double down on what worked for them for the 8 Pro. That I think that's the biggest, we should be able to see. Their new relationship with Hasselblad pretty much means we're going to get some kind of optimization a la modes or whatever,
Sure.
lens influence and stuff like that. So but from what they've leaked, at least they're talking about custom sensors. At least that's another thing, the custom Sony sensor, from what I think Pete Lau put out. The other news that I saw somewhere, which is very interesting, is that they potentially Hydrogen OS may be ending.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw that one. So in China, if
no,
for
I missed
everybody's in this
that.
comment, OnePlus uses Oxygen OS, right? So Oxygen OS is a OnePlus, is their version of it's their skinned version over Android. And in the Chinese market, they use another version of it. They call it Hydrogen OS, and that's intended purely for the Chinese. Same hardware, generally, slightly different bands. But anyways, the story that I saw over on XDA was talking about there was they found a memo that reflects the end of life on Hydrogen OS and
Hmm.
potentially Color OS taking over
Oh, that makes
for
so much
for the
sense.
OnePlus hardware. Same hardware, Chinese market. Something to I think the article was referencing something in the effect of customizations, region specific customizations in
Yeah.
Color OS that were more appealing than what Hydrogen was bringing in. So it's getting a little bit of mixed reaction there, as what people love. I mean, obviously, it's not going to impact us. I think in the
I'm
West,
I'm I'm ready for all the international techie conversation. Oh, the Oppoification of OnePlus, and
the comments on that article was just funny. They're like, "Well, we already know that Oppo owns OnePlus, right?" I'm like, you know what? BBK is BBK. We
right,
already
BBK
we
does
are
what BBK do.
BBK do exactly. So we moved on from this conversation back from the beginning days of OnePlus, where it was controversial because you guys started from up. Like, it is what it is. The FX2 Pro and OnePlus 8 Pro had a lot of similarities when it came to the display. if there's any inclination into the continuation and how beautiful the display on the Find X3 Pro, we're gonna love the OnePlus 9 Pro. Let's just say that much. The display is probably gonna have a lot of heritage, I would say. Let's just say
and
heritage.
you've been saying you've been digging the Find
Dude,
X.
the
So
Find X3 Pro has it's not a straight up upgrade, right? Because they did change some stuff. Like they didn't go with the same higher level materials. I have the very reflective material version of it that is not the matte, as we talked last week with Isa.
mhm.
But seriously, man, the display, the speakers, the charging on it, which was also a really nice addition. They used, in a weird way, they used OnePlus's approach to charging. So they're using the 30-watt charging that we had last year from OnePlus. So I have that charger from last year, right? So I popped that sucker over there, and of course, wireless VOOC or whatever the VOOC charging they want to call it on the FX3, and it worked. It worked beautifully. Like I didn't even have to worry about anything, and it
That's
just
awesome.
Oppo does really nice stuff. So let's just say that OnePlus has a lot of things coming up for it. So obviously next week we'll see. The watch is interesting to me because I thought that was going to come out last year. We've been hearing rumors of the watch for a while,
Yeah.
but yeah,
it's more. There's this little glimmer of life, like there's this little heartbeat in Wear OS. So I'll be curious to see if they decide to roll their own.
Did you get an update on your TicWatch?
A couple weeks back. It wasn't.
It wasn't MR2. I don't think. Yeah. My tracking changed about a week ago. Like the way when you're doing runs and stuff like that, it changed for
my
me.
watch is over on the other side of that table. I can't reach
Let me
it.
double check here. So model number, tap to see
But
version.
the most recent
Nope, MR1 still.
Mobvoi
Yeah.
firmware was pretty solid.
Yeah.
It just kind of helped, I think, improve some of the interactions, and the watch was already way snappier.
Oh, absolutely.
Than the last gen of Android Wear. I keep saying Android Wear of Wear OS watches.
Yeah. It's Wear. It wears out. No, I'm just kidding. It's one of those nice little fun things. But we said we were going to start off did you already start up the? Oh yeah, you did. Sorry, I was going to say the Tetris game. Or we're going to try to set this up.
If you want, I mean, I put it in the chat. If I guess no one wants to play, because we can put the link out public. I mean, I can't. If you drop the link in the comments through StreamYard.
Is it the link that you sent me?
Yeah, in that private chat.
Yeah. Well, let me double check here.
And then here,
copy link address.
And I'll share a window.
Hold on. It's here. Yeah, if you guys are in the mood to play a little bit with us, I just shared it to both Twitch and Instagram.
I was serious when I sort of teased and I prepped this. When I was tweeting about this week's show, it's been a hell of a week, and I feel like we'll just jam. We can talk in between rounds. We can just mess around with dropping some blocks. And if you all want to join in, I feel like this is going to be a bit more of a hangout than, like the sort of structured podcasts that we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, because damn, it's been a week.
It's kind of like it came out of nowhere for some reason. And then once they hit us, it's been I'll just say this. It was a challenging week, and I'm trying to get out of the funk that I got in. It's just taking me a little bit of time. Let's just say that.
You wanna throw some blocks around? Are you ready to jump?
Yeah. Let me see. Mechanics, just hit the space bar. No, wait, hold on. How do
I start? If you hit your settings, you can also make sure that you can customize if you like a certain board.
No, hold on. Oh, here it is. My settings. Okay, so left, Z, rotate left, up, AC. Okay.
Well, no, Jason, you haven't played Tetris in so many years. Tonight is the right time to come back and try it again, and it's totally free, and you don't need to. Oh, we're doing it.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see here.
Boom. So yeah, I'm not sure I know what I want to have happen for this next round of releases. I think the biggie for me is just getting really anxious looking at just getting really anxious looking. The chipset, the Snapdragon.
Yeah, the
I
888.
I really want to see. I really want to hope that from everything that I've read on like Red Magic and some of
But
these other manufacturers.
if they follow through their existing formula, I think there's no question it's going to be a great device. The only thing I worry about is it's more of the performance when, like the throttling concern. Ooh, okay, I am just gone. I am dead. Okay.
Woo! Y'all got to jump in here. Help TK out a little bit, or at least just let TK, kind of get up to speed here.
Okay.
You want to go again?
Sure. Actually, before we go to real quick, there was one question I saw before we went in there.
Yeah.
I think was it Jason? Yeah, no. Jason said I haven't played Tetris for many years. I think. Oh no, it was Jason, but it was a different question. So he's wondering if the watch will be exclusive to OnePlus or will it work with other devices?
That's what I don't know. I mean, this is where we are in uncharted territory because I
understand why he's saying it. I think it's because of the like the wireless buds Z, all of the buds that OnePlus released. They were exclusive to work with OnePlus at the beginning, and then they released the app, the My Harmony, or I forgot the name of the specific app, the app to control the buds to work on other devices, because you couldn't configure them unless you had a OnePlus, which was like baked into the OS. So we'll have to see. I think it's probably going to be compatible with many devices. I don't know if they'll make it like right out about their first iOS supporting device, like for it to work, but that'll be funny.
That would actually be pretty funny. Like, we'll even support that iPhone thing.
Yeah, if you want to use it on your iPhone thing, check out the OnePlus Watch. It looks interesting. It looks rounded. I couldn't tell much other than it kind of looked like a Galaxy. I want to say the Active 3 or the Active 2 watch. The ones that are more circular and rounded shaped. But we'll have to see.
I mean, it looked to me like it could have been any the casing and the hardware design straight out of like a Huawei GT.
Yeah.
Just a little rounder. Just it's not quite as like I just played with the Amazfit, and that one.
I love the Amazfit. Yes,
so solid. So Marie ganked it from me.
That's usually how it goes.
I finished the review and she was like, "Well, my Fitbit isn't working so well." Yoink! And I don't think I'm gonna get it back. I think she's just gonna keep it.
You might as well write it off, sir. It's once our spouses decide that something looks nice and they want it, it's gone.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try. I might try and tempt her with one of the square Amazfits because I think it'll fit her wrist.
Did they send you
a little better?
Well, which one did you have? Did you have the mini or
the GT, the GTR, the round?
Oh, the GTR, the new round. Okay, so I didn't get those. I got a couple. I got the mini and I think the GTS, the last model GTS. They're all
that last model GTS. I think I could swap out for her, and she'd probably wear that better.
It's a little bit bigger. Yeah, I mean, depends on how it fits. The mini was nice. I ended up giving that one to my son, so he's using that.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be kind of interesting. I'd like to see Lex's stats. Like, what are a 5-year-old stats running around the fitness tracker?
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll be depressing because you can see how many steps she does, and she's just around the house, and you're like, I don't even step that much.
Ooh. Or we go out on a walk, and it's like, oh, she's taking like 3 times as many steps as I am. Oh, and she really is a little Tasmanian devil.
That's how they burn the calories, man. They stay fit. They do it.
All right, you ready for another round here?
Let's do one more round. Okay. And go.
So I don't know what I'm hoping to have happen because I think the chipset concerns I have are going to be about like whether or not we see good active cooling. I think that's why I'm so anxious about the Red Magic.
think Red Magic can do it right. The only thing I would probably say is, does the cooling actually help? Well, I take that back. Does it really help cooling on the outside? You know what I mean? Because it's actually cooling the plastic. It's not actually cooling the actual SoC. The SoC is on the inside. So I'm wondering if that's going to help the 888 in that matter. Oh.
I'm willing to bet that some of these companies going a little later than Samsung will probably handle. I think they're probably going to handle thermals a little bit better. It's kind of. I don't mean it in the disastrous effects of what we saw from the Snapdragon 810, but later. Other phones, like especially once we got to like the Lumias, when the Lumias started using the Snapdragon 810, I think we had a better handle on just how much more cooling those chips needed. And, you know, we started hearing like, man, Microsoft is putting in a crazy vapor chamber to make this phone function. You did better that one time.
I did.
Aditya. All right, good.
Okay.
Excellent.
I beat Aditya. Okay, I was going to say
totally did. You schooled them good, TK. You schooled them good.
I wasn't.
We're gonna go right in.
One more time. Okay, let's do that.
But I think phones later in the year are going to make better use of this hardware, and I think the gaming phones are going to kind of show us, are going to show us how to accomplish that.
I think the gaming phones have to, right? That's like 90% of their bread and butter, right? If they don't get it right, then games are just. I mean, ROG is doing it good. I think the cooler that they offered should have been offered as a standard model with the ROG Phone 5, as opposed to just having it with.
What is for the cooler? It that's just an accessory, right?
An accessory for the 5, the 5 Pro, and the 5 Ultimate have it included in the package.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that was the thing that I wasn't sure. And then, like I said, I broke mine. So like, if there's no better way to kind of.
I feel so bad for you on that, dude.
I can't take it off. I got the gaming controller from them as well. Oops, what am I doing here? And I'm worried now because dang it. Okay. But I got the controller gaming from them. What is it called? The QNAP 3 gamepad, and like, I want to play with it. I want to actually get into the whole thing of it, and of course, the moment I do that, I have to take the cooler off, and the moment I take the cooler off, I know it's not going to work again.
That pin's going to pop.
Well, and it's going to end up being me being trying to, like I said, it's me using. Literally, I took some wires out of a cable that I don't have, that I'm not using anymore, and that's how I got it to work. It was seriously.
I mean, that is an excellent. That is an excellent feat of engineering that you pulled off.
I was bummed, man.
Working.
I was like, that is.
No, I totally get it, man. I mean, and again, it's kind of the reality of pulling off the tech reviews that we do is also sort of accepting this is a concern. You know, like that to me looked like a more real world concern for the ROG than watching jerry rig everything, stress test by really trying to break the ROG.
Yeah, that was
with his bend test.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know the ROG is not designed like the. To say that the thing he found as a stress, I mean, how he was able to get it to bend is true. I mean, that's the design. It's not designed. I don't think they designed it to be bent.
I kind of look at bend tests these days as, you know, if you're trying to break the phone, this is what it'll look like. Not, is this a concern for the practical durability of this product?
Yeah, no, and I think what obviously fell, what failed was the connector, that little area where they have
Yeah.
that open connector in the middle of the phone. Obviously, that's the least supported out of the entire phone, and um, I won't deny that my ROG Phone 2 had pretty much a very similar experience. I know that much, but the backing was much better. I feel like it was a better design. It
Mm.
didn't shatter into 1,000 pieces the way his did, which was a little bit interesting. But it's
Gary
Jerry.
saying you got to send it to Luis Rossmann and see if he can fix it after Zach busted it open.
It's one of those. Yeah, mine still works though. Where is it? Did I tell you that the screen is the bottom part of the screen is delaminated now? It keeps separating every once in a while. And I have to
What?
kind of glue it back in. Not the
Seriously?
5, the 2. Yeah,
Oh, the ROG2.
yeah. I should
Oh,
have
I was
press
gonna
fitted
say,
that.
man, like that to me that would have been a much bigger headline than guy tries to purposely break ROG5 and succeeds.
No. It was more. It's one of those. My ongoing concerns and issues and story going on with ROG Phone 5. ROG Phone 5 is doing so. It was doing great. I want to stress test it with the cooler because I feel like it
Mhm.
does need the cooler. I'll say
Yeah.
this: without the cooler, the temperatures can get very warm. And
So
it's
so here's my thing. I want
Yeah.
to see the material science from other manufacturers. Like
Mhm.
I have more faith in OnePlus because their whole focus has been on trying to keep up a speedy UI. I've
Mhm.
got more faith in Sony when it comes to battery tech. So I really want to see who puts in the larger graphite, the bigger copper, the meteor vapor chamber to try and keep the 888 internals running cooler. So even if
So
the
that
outside of the phone feels hot,
Yeah.
like my Razer phone 2 felt hot for a Snapdragon 845 phone, but that phone never stops. Like
Mhm.
once you hit this sort of like this sort of consistent frame rate, it never dips. Like
Yeah.
it just pegs and then just stays there. And
That's the
that's what I
goal.
want to see is I want to see from a OnePlus or from a Sony or from a Red Magic or from an Asus. If the phone is hot, that's fine. I mean, if it's hot to the touch, if it's hot to the
Oh,
touch, that's fine. If it's getting the heat out of the phone
down
and the
to display.
performance is staying consistent, because that's not the experience on the Galaxy S21.
No. Samsung and I think even I think what's it called? The Mi 11 was having some concerns on both those sides.
Hmm.
The unthrottling, the Mi 11 wasn't throttling, but it was getting too hot and then throttling, and then of course Samsung just went double down on throttling at the beginning.
Right.
So it's one of those experiences that are Actually, speaking of which, so yeah, DT, I was about to just jump into that. So speaking of Jerry, and of course, Zach, and of course with DT's comment here, they did end up basically the Xperia Pro has some really massive cooling chambers for
Hmm.
that whole ultra wideband support, which was never in the materials. Like they never discussed cooling when it came down to that. That there is another benefit of having that actually as a mechanism.
And again, I wish they had said something. That would have been
Yeah.
something I would have tried to have looked at more closely because Sony, especially from like the Xperia X days,
Hmm.
had that reputation of like if you take this phone out into the sunlight for 15 minutes, it's going to overheat and it's going to shut off your camera.
Oh,
Um,
dude, it happened to me, the Xperia 1 Mark II as well.
oh, so you got a
Especially
thermal throttle on your One Mark II?
at the beginning, the first time when I first got it and I was playing with it was during that time in the summer, dude, when we were having those really, really hot summer days.
Yeah,
So
that
we're
makes sense.
so where for reference for most of you guys, I live a little bit more inland than Juan Carlos. So we tend to get like 115 sometime in the summer. So it
Yeah.
was during that temperature while I was outside with the phone running super bright because it's obviously a sunny day, where the 4K I was getting some basically the camera shut down because of temperature issues. It wasn't due to the phone; it was more environmental. Like I would not obviously expect even a DSLR to
So
handle that much.
if you remember what was there was one of the Xperia there was the Xperia X that was running on the Snapdragon 652.
Hmm.
And that one I shot 8 minutes of HD video with the
Oh,
phone directly under my air conditioner's vent, and it thermal throttled and shut the
turned it off.
camera off after 8 minutes of HD video.
And that wasn't
So
even
that
4K HD. Oh wow. Okay.
no, that was that I feel that was Sony at their lowest.
I
Was
would I would
the
I would
was
have to
the
say,
Xperia X.
for me with Sony's biggest experience, so I've never had issues when I was shooting in HD or in, like, 1080 or anything like that. I've always had, when like the RX-7 Mark 4, I want to say, it had a limit on the 4K because of the temperature heating. So they know Sony has those. Even the A7S III that we're talking on right now, if you start using it just out of the box without going into the settings and finding that secondary setting where it removes the gauge, there's a temperature setting where it automatically warns you at normal temperature heating, and then there's a next level up which allows it to actually go for longer, which is why I'm able to use the camera for hours on end. Sony has concerns. Obviously, they built their cameras generally to be a little bit warm. So it's been fixed in generational upgrades as we go down the road, but I've never had any problems other than when I'm shooting 4K. But if the
I
weather's
mean,
nice,
now I feel like it's been much more normalized, but
yeah,
from that era, Sony always had this reputation of, like, if you look at your phone cross-eyed while playing Candy Crush, the phone's going to overheat.
yeah.
But I'll put the call out again. If you catch this link here in the JS Stress room, you guys can jump in, and I can absolutely murk you at Tetris because you all suck compared to me.
Speaking of which, let's do one more.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm not focused on the window. There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how you get the guy to lose.
Sure.
You
I'll
start the
slow
game
this one
before you
down a
play.
little for you. I'll let you try and catch up, TK.
Cheers, mate. That's how TK stopped talking to Juan Carlos.
That's the extent of my smack talking this week.
Dude. Oh, speaking of which, I was gonna. Dang it! Hold on. I gotta get it. Okay.
No. Do your thing. Eye of the tiger, TK. Eye of the tiger.
I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to win. I want to get a better score because you're. Ding.
I just made a really dumb mistake, so it might take me a second to clear out some of this garbage here. Now would be the right time to mount an attack.
Ah, dang it! I just. Okay.
You just did the same thing I did.
Yeah.
Oh, we're thinking off the same brain. Oh no.
What the heck? I hit the spacebar twice.
Just to let you know, when a round starts to go longer on JS, it'll start putting garbage down at the bottom to speed up the end of the round.
Yeah, so, it's doing its job very nicely.
It gets pretty brutal on longer runs. Okay. You were doing good there until you dropped that one piece over. Oh, buddy.
And then I double hit the spacebar twice, and it dropped a second piece on top of it. And
so I can't do. It's so funny. Like whenever I try and play on a keyboard now, because I've been playing on controllers for so long. I mean, like I've been playing Tetris since I think I was 7.
Oh yeah.
It's just always been a part of my entire life. Like I don't know of a world without Tetris. So now when I go though, the up arrow is my drop because I'm so used to that being on the D-pad. Up is down. Like it's hilarious.
It's all now. I've been keyboard playing for so long that I mean, there's a few games that I like playing with controllers, like even on the PC, like when I'm playing Stadia and all that other stuff. I'm always keyboard. But the problem is I'm playing with a wireless keyboard, so there's always a little bit of a delay that you kind of factor in because of the way the setup is done. I could not play there. Otherwise, I'll be like doing this.
I get that.
It'll be a funny game. Everybody will be making fun of my beard.
All right.
Um,
So how about this? I'll do one where I won't do any drops. I'll do the smooth,
I
slow,
okay.
slow drop instead of
I
the instant drop.
I
We're
knew Aditya was going to jump in with the Snyder cut. Uh,
Oh
just for
yeah.
reference,
Have you watched it yet? I have not.
yeah,
I've been
I consumed it in pieces. Let's just say that
in
it it
chapters.
it in chapters. It's a marathon. It's a solid. I mean, I don't. Well, hold on. I'll ask this. Do you care? But are you going to watch it?
I will watch it, but I don't particularly care about
Spoiler.
spoilers.
I was going to say this. Spoilers. The heroes win. Um,
What? Oh, come on. That's like telling me there's a twist in a M. Night Shyamalan movie.
No, because I honestly thought, like going into this, I was like, okay, you know what? He's gonna make it so that Superman just ends up being just like a total, Uh, actually, before we get into my okay, so Tech Valor is gonna watch it tomorrow. So you know what? It's okay.
Oh, okay. If Tech Valor's
Um,
watching it tomorrow, then don't go too deep on my account. But I kind of feel like it seems to me you made the cut 4 hours long. It shouldn't be hard to best because the what Whedon did with Justice League was not very well received. So I kind
no,
of feel like that's a very low bar to say, well, it's better than the original theatrical cut.
I saw some people saying, yeah, I watched the Snyder cut because Justice League twice because I want to torture myself. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna feel like that a little bit,
A little bit.
but I'll say this honestly. It felt like a complete story. It was long, but it felt like a complete story. That'll
I
be
just feel like we're missing the point of movies if the big hook is we'll go back and
in post.
we'll go back and we'll release like an unrated version that's twice as long to fill in all of the plot holes that we created um because we couldn't make the first one a real proper movie. um it's that kind of stuff that I feel
Hey.
is an issue.
It is. It is. But you know what? I I enjoyed. I would say this much if I have because I've watched regular Justice League multiple times. My son actually liked the original, the one that was released, the PG-13 version. I found it funny because if you remember when Deadpool came out, right? So Deadpool 2
Mhm.
came out. It was a good sequel. I liked it a lot. And then Ryan decided they're basically going to do a PG-13 version of that movie.
Oh,
So
it's
they
hilarious
it
too.
was
Yeah.
hilarious. So, like Once Upon a Deadpool, like the funniest thing ever. And my son was so happy that they made it. I was very happy because I could share it with him because I don't think
Yeah.
the original is appropriate.
No.
And this felt like the reverse, right? This felt like the reverse part where they released a PG-13 and now we have the rated R model. The rated R, unfortunately, I don't think is I can see why it got a rated R, but I feel like this.
Mhm.
I also don't think my son's going to be patient enough to watch that long of a movie. It is long. It is seriously, like I said, I watched it in chapters, mostly because I already knew the original story, and every time I was watching, I was just trying to see where the deltas are. The
Right.
introduction to some of the new characters that we saw in the teasers were really nice. Uh, it just, I think that's the story that's developed. It made more sense. Let's just say this much: once you see this, you start questioning how they approached the first one. So you're right. It's something you have to kind of set some time apart for it. And because it's
I kind of
broken
feel like
chapters,
we've all been questioning how they set this up
like from
from
last year when they
Batman v
announced it.
Superman.
Yes, it's. I'll say this. There's a twist at the beginning from that. I'll just say
What?
that. Yeah, there's a
No, you
little.
can't say there's a twist. Now I'm gonna be looking for a twist. All right, that's it. We're going again. Another game.
Okay.
And
I thought you,
Jason, it's not that I have secrets to share about Tetris. It's that you join, and then as you play me, you'll see what my secrets are, and that's how you'll do better.
how you do better. He's gonna kick it all old school.
I mean, I'm watching your board more than I'm watching mine, TK. I'm quietly and secretly judging you right now.
How it
I have the
starts.
tiger, TK. I have the tiger.
Where is it? Okay, here, I'll move this one here. I'm gonna hate myself for this one. Yeah, no, I'm still hating myself. Okay, this one. Okay, here.
Oh, buddy. Oh, that was a good fit. That was a great fit right there.
That was a very lucky fit. Hold on, let's see here. Yeah, this one's gonna be like that.
It's gonna be like that.
It's gonna be one of those nights, yeah. Where TK just
Gary the fireman. I have Tetris tells.
Okay, here.
Actually, I can, you know, if you don't mind going right back in for another round after this one is done. I do have advice for how you start your board that I think will help. But I'm just gonna kind of watch it here. This is very dramatic. I very much enjoy again. I feel like Tetris is kind of one of those perfect, near perfect institutional gaming. Tetris is forever. Like
yes.
I'll be playing Tetris with my grandkids.
Come on.
Make it fit. Do it.
Okay, we'll do this.
Uh-oh, the board is coming up on us. The tiger, TK.
Yeah. Oh, dang. Okay. It's just not gonna happen. I lasted longer. Let's just say that much.
You did great. Okay, we're gonna go back in. I want you to look at my board real quick on the first couple pieces that get dropped. Right.
Okay.
So I think if you're gonna play to build for Tetrises, you want to set your borders with your first 2 or 3 pieces. Okay. So what I mean by that is we can see all of the pieces that are coming. So this green guy that's coming up next is going to be a pain in my butt.
Yeah.
But I'm going to set my yellow not against the far board, far edge.
I see.
I'm going to leave that purposely as a gap for when I get a skinny one, and then I can put that green one. And now what I need to do is scooch. So I'm probably going to scooch with that purple with the T shape.
Oh, I see. You're going to wait for it to hit to the bottom and then scooch right in there.
And so that way I don't have to mess with any gaps. So I'm going to throw L shape right on top.
Oh, okay. I would have won the other way.
I mean, you play your board. But what I'm going to try and do is build up so that I have one clear side for a skinny. So I'm going to hold this skinny. And then with this T shape, I'm going to scooch it to clear that gap. Boom, 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 boom. And now I'm sending you garbage with the Tetris. And look at that. That's really pretty. So I always try. So now what I would say is on your board, the leftmost side is kind of perfectly set up for you to start building for a gap on the left.
I have a that's here.
So yeah. Ooh, that was a smart one. Playing that to kind of clear that there. So as soon as I set my my board so that I've got a clear gap on one side, I find it so much easier to leave that as the
de facto skinny section.
Yeah. I mean, that just sets like a boundary.
That was not a good idea, but
if you continue to live to fight, then I feel it's a good idea for Tetris. Actually, I mean, if you can hang on just a bit, I think you might beat me on this one because I don't know that I'll get to a skinny one in time.
Ah, dang it. Okay. See, I hit the space bar twice. Barely.
All right, so
Lost
you want to
just
try? You want
average.
to try that one more time? Set a boundary for a skinny piece, and try and hold that. And
Okay.
when you set that as your boundary limit, then when you build, you're going to be building in that middle section more effectively.
Okay. Let's try it one more time.
All
Okay.
right. I'm gonna play for real now, though.
Hey, let's see what we can do here. Mm-hmm. Here. Here.
Oh, I'm building taller than I should.
Come on. Okay, here.
This has become my wife and I's sort of bourbon and chill game, where if we need to kind of take the pressure off of a rough day, there are a few things that can kind of zone you out as well as Tetris. So I did you kind of dirty there because I sent you quite a bit of garbage all in one straight shot.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
Aditya saying like, "Oh, this is going to be an awkward podcast." I don't know that this week's going to get an audio version.
No, and not only that. I think we should switch this over to Warzone so we can get a couple of rounds in there. Daddy needs a few wins. Let's just say that.
No worries. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else that we can fire up easy. Like a Battlelands Royale. I've got that sort of ready to go. We could jump in on that.
He'll like throw that in there. Like, yeah, sure. Let's just why don't we just compound the stuff up? No, I did want to actually ask you a question. So
yeah,
in the video that you put out with the QNAP, obviously we mentioned it in the past. I do apologize. I didn't get a chance to catch the video today. I've been a little bit. It's been an interesting couple of days for me. It's been one of those weeks, yes. But so what if obviously for anybody that hasn't watched it, obviously I'm sure the T could call himself daddy. It's one of those weeks, Aditya. Let's just say that it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those weeks. And I really like at the end. I think Juan was asking. It's like, hey, do you want to just kick it, hang out, kind of thing. I wanted to. I wanted to hang out with you guys. I wanted to talk. I wanted to just see how you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I took the last couple of days of just not working on things and just wanting to kind of I want to get the motivation back. And it is a little bit late, although it probably is in the morning for him. So yeah, Aditya. Yeah, I lost my train of thought, but what I was meaning to find out a little bit more about this. How has it been with you? Since you've had it for what, at least a month, over like a couple of months?
Almost 2 full months from the initial setup, and it is such a badass little box.
Nice.
It's the frustration of putting this stuff out on YouTube where it's a router. We know, like on a channel like mine, that's not going to get a ton of traffic. It was super disappointing to see it like just absolutely crater in the first hour. Like it was 20 minutes before I got a comment on that video, which is like, that is insanely bad for a channel like mine. The router itself though is a little monster.
I'll move this one for a little, put us back.
Oh yeah, no worries.
For a few minutes.
So the broadcast range is a little lean. I mean, it's not hard to get like a gaming router with big old spider leg antennas. That's gonna.
I was about to say, yeah, because it doesn't have any external antennas, right? Everything is internal to it.
It looks more like a switch. And if you know
Yeah.
QNAP, because they make a bunch of really great business grade switches, they make network attached storage. I do believe they have a Wi-Fi 5 mesh solution, a mesh
Okay.
router.
Yeah.
But everything looks like office, like office stuff, not like
I use them
even
for
your
my NAS server. That I have a
yeah,
QNAP
mine
NAS
too.
set up.
The
Yeah.
box of hard drives under my desk is a little
Yep.
QNAP, the 332.
Mhm.
If you're used to a SUSE or like I've got an old Linksys,
Yeah.
everything looks like it came out of like a like Robotech,
Pretty much.
weird angular shapes and
Very
arms and
complex
antennas.
names, very long combination of
You
letters
turn
and
it
numbers.
upside down, it looks like a little bug, like that's kind of the gig.
I still have one of those for my home network. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's not QNAP's vibe.
Nope.
It looks like they took one of the boxes of their switches and then they just packed it full of internal antennas. And even though it's all internal antennas, if you're under 2,000 square feet, I think you're in really good shape.
Okay,
If
good.
you can get this thing to sort of a central location in your home.
Mhm.
And again, it can be outperformed. I feel like there are some AX 3600 routers that are probably a little bit faster for Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
I have not found many that add 2.5 gig or 10 gig Ethernet. It's still really, really
Well, even
uncommon.
at that price point, it's actually really reasonably priced.
Even $100 above,
Mhm.
it's not common to find that pairing, Wi-Fi 6 and faster Ethernet. I'm not even saying 10 gig, just 2.5 gig would have been great. I mean, for the NAS that I'm running, 10 gig is probably overkill.
Yeah.
I'm just running a little 3 drive RAID 5. Like that's not going to give me 10 gig speeds.
No, well, because at that speed, I mean, even your hard drives are not going to be fast enough to be able to throughput that much more.
But so here's, I mean, this is something I didn't really spell out as well as I could have in the review. I've got a 500 gig Western Digital Blue SSD only being used as swap space and cache.
Swap space cache. Yeah.
And then hooking up everything over 10 gig is really stinking fast when we're looking at doing like backups and stuff.
Well, even if you're trying to like stream content off of it, right, from movie playing and so on.
Well, part of this is like I'm using it for dual purpose. So now the extra bandwidth on the entire network, if Lex wants to watch something on Plex and I'm editing 4K video from my archives, like I can edit directly off of the NAS now. Like the throughput is just so much stronger. Nothing slows down.
Nice.
Everything is cranking. I mean, like Marie was watching Die Hard. And just because we do, my Blu-ray rip of Die Hard. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. It is a true and proper Christmas film, which we needed a little Christmas in our lives. It was last week, and my Blu-ray rip of Die Hard is a almost 25 gig video file.
Yeah,
because it's the 4K.
Yeah. Well, you said Blu-ray. I was going to say, yeah.
Well, and the Ultra HD reprint of Die Hard. And I don't even notice it. Like I'm still editing and rendering directly off of the NAS while it's spitting out this insane 4K video transfer.
She's on Wi-Fi and you're on wired though, right? When she's streaming, she
was sending that directly to a TV over Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Which that wouldn't have worked before. On just the 1 gig connection. If I had been looking at that drive while she was trying to play that film, Die Hard would have been buffering the entire time. So
be like, Juan, you got to stop it with your editing. I got to finish watching the movie. Or she'll invite you. So like, hey, come over, watch the movie with me, and then you can go edit.
or it would have been like, it would have been something silly like because we bought the Ultra HD version, we got a code so that we have a 1080p version on.
I was okay. Good. Yeah, no, I like those. I like the little Easter eggs where you can be able to get like an online version. You can play one.
Yeah, it's great. Except who wants to watch that garbage when you've got like the actual Blu-ray rip? What am I, some kind of diehard normie? No, no, thank you.
You
That's
want to
why
see
I
John?
need 10
You want
gigabit
you need to see the
Ethernet.
sweat off of John McClane's face. That sweat needs to be that scene when he's standing there and he's sweating and like, yeah, I get it. I understand. You want to get the
I
details.
need to be able to shove my nose into my 4K TV to analyze the film grain of this transfer process, and anything less than that is an insufficient diehard viewing experience. Which is, again, this is
Bruce
all.
Willis would be ashamed, but yeah.
He would definitely think less of anyone who consumed Die Hard in that gross or grotesque a fashion.
No.
But that's what's so funny is like, I feel there is a small niche but emerging market for faster local home networks.
Yeah.
Being able to move data very quickly back and forth between local devices, getting sort of a better throughput for those of us that are starting to get like fiber internet. If you've got like 1 gig symmetrical broadband, this
Which is
is
hard. It's very hard to get.
this well, yeah, it's very difficult in the United States to land that, but this kind of hardware now starts to make, I think, a better argument for why you might want to spend a bit more money in this kind of networking direction.
Yeah.
I really want more people to control their own cloud. I think
absolutely. You should have your own control of your own backups, your own data, online. And I saw by the way, I saw your tweets on, trying to be able to, utilize the space in your drive while somebody's sharing things with you. And why does it count against you? Kind of, you know what I mean? Like it holds space on your own drive side, which I feel like you were concerned about that part. But yeah, no, local backup is always the best way because 100% backup, 100% quality exactly off your device. I rely on the network in the office because I back up between the two PCs. I have my own local here and I have my QNAP upstairs. For videos, for like recent projects that I'm worked on, I always like to keep the source files and the data and the produced file in case I need to reproduce it for another content. Like if I ever want to put it on Amazon or something like that, it's easier to just go from the produced file, cut that up, put a couple of transitions on it. It's easier than to have to bring up the whole project, transfer that whole library. So I'm with you. I'm glad you like it. I didn't take the jump into it. I decided to stick with what I have.
I feel like that's okay. And again,
now.
I am kind of pointing this out in a very consumery way, where the consumer niche on this is less what the focus of the product is. There is, I mean, like if I were running a corporate IT and I kind of had like a more modular and mobile workforce where people needed to access proprietary information, the ability to very easily set up mesh VPN services that anonymize traffic and better secure traffic as you access like corporate storage remotely, as you communicate with other employees. The notion that, employees operating at that level and with security needs like that, especially coming out of Hollywood, where I have friends who cut movie trailers.
Okay.
The security that they go through to get the footage for a film to cut a trailer rivals what our government uses for top secret information. I mean, we're talking about people needing like keys to be accessed at the same time. I mean, like the notion of nuclear launch codes sounds quaint compared to what they have to go through.
What they have to go through just to leaks, I guess. Well, they think their leaks much better than Apple and and Google.
Because again, I mean, to cut a trailer, you need like all of this raw footage and produced footage from a film. And the notion that a couple $100, $300, and you could outfit a remote worker to work off of a node, access a custom VPN, a custom SD1, and get them access to this footage in an extremely snappy network management solution is incredible. That notion to me that this is like $330 full of privacy securing and
Mhm.
content protecting hardware is incredible to me. Like if you would ask me like 2 or 3 years ago, would we be working on 2 gigabit Ethernet with what Wi-Fi that can easily support like 3 megabit
Transfer rates. Yep. No.
broadcast rates? Like that's $1,000 router, obviously.
Exactly. No. Yeah, I tried at the time when we first started talking about this one. I tried it very, very hard to try to find any kind of comparable things that were in the same price range, and it's very hard. It's very hard to find something that includes Wi-Fi 6 and that just the features. Like I said, the only thing that I would probably say, like you said at the beginning, is the connectivity due to the lack of external antennas. But then again, most condos, most apartments, I think
And
should be
small homes.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and small homes, depending on where you set up and so on. For me, my biggest problem, even with a Wi-Fi 6 router on a Wi-Fi connection, I was having the hardest time with having it up in the upstairs where my current home setup is.
Yeah.
And that's why I did the dedicated connection, which again, once I changed the router, worked perfectly fine. And my philosophy is, what works, don't mess with it. Just let it be.
So right now, I've my network is ridiculous overkill, and I love it.
Mhm.
I'm not recommending people do this, but I've got the 10 gig card in my
Yeah.
workstation. I have a multi-port. It's an 8-port gigabit 4-port 10
That's
gig
it's the
switch.
switch. Okay, yeah, it sounds
And
like switch.
then that is controlled, like the brain of the network is now this QNAP.
Yep.
And so now we can run gigabit out to the living room really
Mhm.
easily because I've got it kind of mounted out on a bookshelf in our hallway. And I've got multiple Ethernet ports in here, where if I want to
Is-
run like a little Nook, or if I want to run a secondary PC, or just plug in
Oh,
a
speaking of
laptop,
which, yeah, I saw your
it's
Azul,
crazy.
the Azul little mini PC. That was a nice little fun
It took
video.
me so long to finish that review.
I was
I
happy that you
felt
got it.
so bad.
I
Okay,
f-
so it just kept getting bumped. I'd have like a major project come in. I was working with Newegg. I was trying to do some stuff with reviews.org. And
I
that poor little Azul just kept
Dude,
getting
I'm
bumped.
I'm I'm happy that I'm happy you got a chance to work on it.
It's a
I
cute box.
it is
It's
it's
such a nifty
absolutely.
little
And
PC.
I upgraded mine because I ended up combining that into one of my gaming videos.
Mhm.
I added another 4 gigs for the RAM, and I added an SSD that I picked up for $18 off of Black Friday. So it was like the best little tiny thing that could just
So
basically be here.
where do you see that? I mean, because again, we have way too many toys.
Yeah,
We are very lucky to be working with tech the way that we are. But where would
absolutely.
you see that you would want to put that? Because I'm thinking it might end up as another behind the TV computer, but for our bedroom. Because I've
So
got the big boy Nook behind
yeah.
our living room TV, which
So
again is ridiculous overkill for
it
what we're really using that thing
as
for.
a portable, as a not a portable, as a behind a TV kind of thing, it probably would be perfectly fine. I have their PC sticks for
Mhm.
those. So I have one in the office that I have it connected there, and then for mostly because my TVs are typically wall mounted, so it's a little bit hard for me to have the
Yeah.
entire this style of Azul. The PC sticks though just do exactly what I needed to do. Their new generation with the fanless PC sticks are actually pretty decent. It's
They're not
just that
bad.
just can't upgrade them. But I feel like the standard Azul, the Access 4 was so nice, like 8 gigs of RAM on it. The external, I put, not only does it support external, micro SD, but I put in an SSD in there, like 128 gig off of Amazon, literally $18. I never thought in my life that SSD would be that cheap. Um, and it fit and it works perfectly fine. I personally think for me, if it would be a great upgrade for my son's Chromebook, just replacing the Chromebook.
Oh,
Put that there,
yeah.
because then I can put that in. It doesn't have to be sitting on his desk. It could be just mounted and behind the monitor, just anywhere away, and just run. And he has enough ports,
Mm.
keyboard, mouse, external, for the headset, for the webcam. Because that was my biggest thing with the Chromebook. I ended up having to use a hub to get the keyboard, the mouse, the webcam to be connected at the same time.
Yeah.
because you know how Chromebooks are not just intended and
Mhm.
ergonomic, right? And I didn't want to use the built-in webcam. I wanted to use like a legit 1080p for school.
You know, that's actually not a bad play because I could
Yeah.
definitely like, I could grab one of those inexpensive touchscreen monitors
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
then
like the ones we
outfit
have.
Lex
Yeah.
with, like, the little WiMAX it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I was
I
gonna say
could
we have
probably
different brands, but similar.
same,
Yeah,
same.
exactly.
I'd be shocked if they were different monitors.
I,
I feel like the label on the box is the biggest difference.
uh,
But once we kinda get Lex through TK, her pre-kindergarten,
oh, I thought I was
it
gonna say getting through me. I'm like I'm not doing the
once Lex just, Super
just
Saiyans up to level 3 and then,
moves
like
up.
spirit bombs you or something. No, once we get her through transitional kindergarten, it might make sense to make that like a little bit of a workstation space as opposed to because right now she moves back and forth between the Pixelbook
Which is
and
a good one. Yeah.
my old beat up Huawei laptop.
Oh,
Um,
the what's it called? The Mate. That's not the Mate X, is it? No, not the Mate.
no, it's not the Mate X. It's the lower end
I forget.
thin.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So it's one of those thin, ultra light laptops, which
So
generally with
I
built-in.
I was surprised because I played with the Access and it's that PC stick, right? And it's
Yeah,
it's a really really little full Windows PC.
yeah.
Now as like an office machine, I think that's
I used
good.
it for travel when we used to travel. Not this model, but like an earlier model.
Right.
When we go to hotels and stuff like that, connecting it, it's super nice. I have a
Yeah.
wireless keyboard and mouse. Yeah.
So here's what I was surprised is the Byte,
hmm
the Byte 4, it couldn't play Tetris Effect. So just like the Access, that kind of gaming not in line. But
Yeah.
but I put in a SATA SSD.
hmm
I installed Torchlight 2.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's an older game. I mean, it just recently made it to the Switch like last year, but it's an older Diablo style dungeon crawler
hmm
and it could kind of struggle through Torchlight. Like I could really play the game that way. I was very impressed that this like low level Celeron, which is often used. I mean, Aditya is asking about like our advice on building a
On
NOS.
building a NAS, this would be the type of processor that's yeah, easy, simple processing running on Linux, right? Like because QNAP runs Linux on their
Mhm.
servers, anyways. It's a Linux with actually I forget the GUI interface to it, but it's a
But
Linux build.
I it could play Torchlight. That's a game I love. I could jam on the Byte 4 and play some
So
Torchlight.
for me, I ended up playing. I ended up using GeForce, offsetting GeForce
Oh yeah, yeah,
horsepower
yeah.
just to get it to play
You
decent
know what
games.
didn't work? So on the Access,
hmm
Nvidia seemed to play fine.
Yeah,
I didn't try Microsoft, but Stadia would not run on the Access.
at all.
I mean, it would fire up and it would launch, and I was playing.
Uh-huh.
What is that Tomb Raider? The isometric top down. It's like something Osiris or something like
Uh,
that. It's not even one of the more demanding Tomb
No,
Raider.
no, no. It's Polygon. It's not Poly Shooter.
But yeah, it's
I
it's
know
like
I
a
know what
top
you're talking about.
down
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of puzzler as opposed to a full Tomb Raider adventure game, third person. That game struggled so bad on the Access. Nvidia
Wonder
game streaming worked great. I didn't try Steam. I should have tried like remote, like I mean not
Steam.
remote, local Steam Link,
Oh,
but
Steam Link. Well, so that'll work perfectly. I think that'll also work perfectly fine with the network that you have right now. But I think
yeah.
yeah, you're way ahead of what this requirements are going to be. But using Steam Link, you actually in the past I've done that. I've done that actually with the PC sticks where I've used the
Mm,
PC stick as a basically a virtual, basically a Steam Link as opposed to buying a Steam Link separately. And it worked perfectly fine. But like I said, it depends on the network and how far you are. Latency was my biggest issue, but if you run Ethernet, I
yeah.
think you should be pretty good
So
shape.
I think it's cute. I think it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. Like for so many people, like obviously go get an Nvidia Shield or a Google Chromecast for most of this like low level media streaming,
I
TV streaming.
full-heartedly the new Google Chromecast with remote with Android TV is
For
solid.
like $50, it's a
50
no-brainer.
there's no question. And then if you really want to step it up for 4K and upscaling, if you really want to get the next level, then go with the standard PC, the NVIDIA Shield, like you were saying, the entry level, not even the Pro. The entry
But
level is more than capable.
just knowing that in that $250 ballpark, this like PC building space is getting really cute. So
Yeah, no,
I mean, you always run into those situations where it's like maybe it's some funky MKV file that you've got, and like that's not going to play. It's so again, I maybe the subtext for this week's podcast is overkill. Having a full Windows PC just to accomplish some of that stuff seems like overkill, but then you always find something else where it's I need that to work.
Yeah.
I need an easy way to plug a memory card into something that will display directly on my TV, or I need a way to stream information from one system to another, or I need a full web browser, or I want to preview this PowerPoint presentation. I mean, there's always something. And then I need a TV and I can't do this on my Chromecast.
I was going to say there's a certain level of things that I think having a PC stick is functional, but it's also I think, like you said, like the Intel PC sticks are still also a big thing, but I think Azul's been doing it really good with their Access and their Byte series. They've been doing really nice. They have multiple models, so glad that you were able to put that out. I was when I saw that, I was like.
And you knew too, because we got them at the same time.
We got them at the same time, and honestly, I got it in purely with there, and because they kept checking with us. They're like, "Hey, when's it coming? When's it coming?" I said, "You know what? I'm going to do a gaming thing with it," and it was a good way to kind of just showcasing it as a gaming center, because it's not intended to run Cyberpunk 2077. Let's just say that. But I loved it with GeForce, and Steam Link would definitely work. But yeah, maybe actually, after school's over, maybe setting him up for next year, because he's going into 6th grade, so it'll be an interesting approach. We'll have to see.
And I again with the Byte 4 is also something kind of cool about like his PC still having some room for cracking it open,
changing, adding,
swapping an SSD or something. It's not a completely glued shut school tablet or something.
Yeah, like super easy to open up, like very, very easy. Literally unwinding a couple of pieces, 4 screws, and you're in. And it already has a spot for the SSD for you to be able to upgrade it, and a separate spot also for the memory card, the RAM that we had in there, because they come in with 4. And I had a friend of mine that had, so there was a third person that I knew that also received one for review. He decided to upgrade to 2 8 sticks as opposed to just going to an extra stick.
Oh, nice.
So he ended up having an extra piece, which was his original 4 that came with it. So I ended up buying that off of him. And so I made sure that it was a matched pair. Now that becomes, dual channel stuff.
Nice.
So it's
what I want to try is getting an M.2 in there, moving the boot to that M.2, and then also keeping the SSD, my SATA SSD, as like a backup drive. And dude, that could be a little screamer.
That could fix your gaming. Quick. Yes. No, definitely. That would be way faster than the internal system. I didn't try to go that far, mostly because, like I said, I was trying to keep a budget. I paid $30 for the extra RAM, and then I paid, I think, 18 plus tax on Amazon.
But I mean, like, if I go with just like the lowest level M.2,
yeah,
I should be able to get something pretty inexpensive. My SATA drive is 256. And then I just want to bump up, like you did, like just another 4.
I feel like 8 is the right number.
8 gigabytes of RAM seems like it would be perfect. But if it's running dual channel, that'll also give this little Celeron a nice shot in the arm.
Exactly. In the past, back in the days, like everybody were like, what can I do to speed up my computer? Easiest thing to do is switch your internal hard drive to an SSD. That is like an easy night and day. Your Windows boots up in less than what I remember the days when our computers, you hit the power button, you go walk away and come back and wait for the PC to start.
I had the Lenovo ThinkPad Twist.
Oh, okay.
It was the one where the screen would swivel and fold
Mm.
flat, as opposed to the yogas where it
Where
just
it
goes
just opens, yeah,
behind the
behind it. Yeah.
keyboard. And that had a terrible spinning disk drive in that, and I made it work for a couple years,
Oh, okay.
and then just like, I've got to get rid of this machine, but it was a kind of a project. Like, I just wanted to see, let's just see what happens. And I popped in a little Kingston 128 gig SSD, which was stupid expensive at the time, and it was like a completely different computer.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've like given up on hard drives as anything other than just, I kind of need big dumb storage.
As long as, like you said, like the way you have it with your QNAP, with that your swap files are essentially running on the SSD. You can still you can still have the spinning drives, and you still
Hmm.
have the running them in RAID. And I appreciate that part. Yeah. So I have a little, not a NAS, but like a little RAID backup that's right under where you guys are actually talking to me. It's like right under there. It was a nice little, it was a review that I was doing, so it was nice. And I put in basically four terabyte drives in there, and I run them. So mostly because and it's so nice now because I can just, my backups are wired, because now at the office is all hardwired, no more Wi-Fi, so it runs very nice. So I like it. Uh, but you upgrade those things little by little, and like I
Hmm.
said, Azul makes really nice stuff. And I hopefully, like I said, summer, right as soon as the school year's done, I'll put in some time in there, so it'll be good.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to play with like, see some of these other small form factors. I really want to do an AMD build next, because I've
Hmm.
done 4 Nooks now, and 2 Azules, and now I
And they're
really
all
want to
Intel.
see like, well, yeah, I kind of want to see like, what can we get in a very like petite form factor. I'm just really taken with small form factor. It's like, again, it kind of like why I like little roadsters instead
Hmm.
of big old like muscle cars and stuff. I just really want to play with what is the kind of cooling to power to price to performance ratio that makes the most sense for AMD right now. Because like, around $300 is a surprisingly capable mini Intel box.
Hmm.
The Core i3 Nook that I played with, surprisingly capable
Oh,
little
wow. It
machine.
was
I
an
mean, just,
i3.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
again, with the Intel integrated graphics, and I was playing Street Fighter 4, like, it did the gig.
yeah, yeah.
It wasn't gonna like, it wasn't gonna like rock your socks or anything, but it was an eminently handily capable
Gary got it
media
right.
media
Less
machine.
is more. Yeah, don't have to overdo it. You just uh hi, Aditya's jumping in with the, like, TK has a little Nas.
Lil Nas,
It's
little
not a
little
little Nas X, but
got a little yacht
I saw
yachty.
where he was going with it. It's one of those, like, seriously, guys. Honestly, it's one of those weeks that just been very interesting.
All right,
Hope
I mean, do you want to close this show out with just one more round?
Sure. You
You
know
want
what?
you want to you want to you want to do one more?
Let's see if we
I'll
can.
put the call out. Just give it a second. I mean, if we're gonna close out this show, or do you want to throw the link into the chat one more time?
I'm gonna throw it one more time
Anyone
here.
who wants to. I mean, again, I guess everyone here is like super feared and doesn't want to step up and join us. You could be in here right now. This is totally live.
Totally live. Totally getting TK's getting his butt whooped on live Tetris gaming. Why not?
I feel like 3 weeks from now, you're going to be like, oh, do you want to just play again? And then I'm going to find out that you've just been like training.
Training daily, like every waking moment, been playing the game. Like, okay, let's do this.
I think Aditi is back in the room. All right, you ready?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
All
Let's go
right,
ahead and
we'll
play
do
real
we'll
quick.
do one more. Go. And remember what I told you is do
It's set up the corners.
set up like a
Uh,
zone and then feed to that zone, and it's going to be way easier.
that would, okay, sorry, I don't know how to hear. Uh,
I mean, I think Aditya is going easy on you right now. That was a really mean way of saying he's not playing his strongest Tetris.
Oh my god, you guys are.
That's Tetris smack talking.
I'm gonna put Juan into the will.
And this is when Juan was removed from the Christmas and holiday card list.
Exactly. It's like he was doing great. What happened? Like, nope, no more, man. That's
Not anymore. Not today.
Nope, that's not gonna happen. Okay, let's do this here.
Let me go there.
That was a bad one.
But I'll always throw out the recommendation. You just need to kind of zone, find your flow state. There are a few games better than Tetris that can really get you there. Especially you start dreaming in blocks. It's good times.
We have bigger problems. No, just kidding. Okay, let's see where. Dang it! It's starting to punish me for taking too long.
Well, I think I just sent you all that garbage. I don't know if in JS-Tris if you can control who gets your junk. That sounded dirtier than I meant it to.
It sounded like a different episode of Saturday morning.
Best of our week. Yeah.
Best of Juan's week, but oops.
It's just a prank, bro.
Dude,
prank gone wrong, gone sexual. Okay. Woo!
Hey, I beat Aditya. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Was he even trying? Aditya, were you even playing?
Whoa, TK, sick burn.
No, I have a feeling. I feel like
was really in there. Do we want to do 2 out of 3 between TK and Aditya? Is that now the challenge? Is that what we're doing?
We can do a couple more. Yeah, why not?
All right, then that's what we're doing. Okay, here we go.
Why don't we close it out with TK just going?
Take him down, Aditya. Or I think his might. Oh, there he goes. Okay. It's weird if you're like, are we getting lag on Tetris?
Can PC handle it, bro? I don't think you can, man. It's not that kind of PC. Do I want to do it this way? Okay, let's do this.
I see Aditya clearing some lines out. I think he's not. He's bringing it this time.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of fun though. I'm like watching you guys as much as I'm watching my own board. Okay, let's see if that gives garbage to both of you.
It did. What do you mean?
Well, okay. Every Tetris has its own flavor of how competitive stuff goes down. So, like, if we were playing this on Puyo Puyo Tetris, then it would be. I think there would be a very different feel on how this plays out. But I don't have the same feel yet on JS-Tris. So really, I'm just going to try and keep, if anyone sends me garbage, I'm just going to clear it. That'll be my game. But who's going to do it? TK versus Aditya. Come on. The eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Up
I'm
the
gone.
Challenge of your rivals. So close. Oh, okay. So you guys are technically tied now. One more?
Aditya, if you're up for it, sure. Why not? Why don't we do it? I mean, it's already
One more. All right, I'm gonna click new game. All right, so this is for all the marbles. This is best 2 out of 3. I won't send any garbage unless I can double up 2 Tetrises to try and send garbage to both of you. Because I'm quite magnanimously humble and gracious.
magnanimous.
It's a good word. I don't use that word enough.
No, I wasn't trying to make fun of it. I was actually, it's like the fact that you actually plugged it in correctly. Here.
Eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Up to the challenge of our rival. Oh, Aditya dropping that L shape.
Mm.
Uh-oh. Feel the pressure's building. I think TK, I mean, this is probably your strongest mid game that we've seen so far. So this is not going to be easily won by either side here.
No, dang it. Okay.
And now I'm starting to I got a little garbage. So someone cleared out a couple lines here. Uh-oh, now we're getting that creep at the bottom. All right. I got to send you guys some junk here. Okay, it does. So if I send one Tetris out and then I immediately send a second Tetris out, then it does send equal amounts of garbage to the both of yous.
I was doing so well. For a while.
Oh, the surprising upset. We've got Aditya and Anil coming in to clean house at the end. I feel like that's where we got to leave it this week, folks. Let us know if you'd like us to turn our weekly tech podcast into nothing but a cheese ball Tetris tournament every week, and I'm sure we can accommodate.
Where TK and Juan can actually corner the top spot and the bottom spot at the same time, because that's the kind of game. That's the
very well played, Aditya. Very well played.
Exactly, my friend.
Yeah, the bottom bar creep. So Aditya is saying the bottom gray bar. It's one of the things that I love and hate about JS Tris is that your rounds are forced really short.
Yeah.
So if you play like me, what I like to do is stage like 2 Tetrises and always have one in reserve.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're building into your second Tetris and then the bottom bar starts creeping, and you can't clear it, then you've burned your game. Like you're just immediately out of you're just immediately taken down. So it's a different strategy for how you try to send garbage to other players. It's pretty funny.
It is, but it was a good game. We haven't had, actually, this is the first time we've gamed together, actually, if you think about it, because I haven't had a opportunity to jump in on some of the game nights on the weekends.
So yeah, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I want to try and find a card game. Again, just something kind of chill, like even something silly, like maybe we can find an online poker, and everyone can just kind of throw some poker around.
It'll be nice.
Just something, again, less like I need to be in the zone for my chicken winner chicken dinner. I personally need to find something where I can kick back, maybe sip on some bourbon. Maybe I'll order a pizza and just like eat an entire pizza all by myself. And and have a good time. So
It'll be one of those. I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see. Yeah. Can
should
you
be a
make
good
it
time.
this week? I see Aditya is trying to push it up to a weekend
Oh,
this
you want
weekend.
to? You know what? Let me put out a post. I'll put out a post on the Patreon, and we'll see if game night works in 2 weeks, or if it works next week, or what kind of schedule we're on. We just try to
Take a look.
alternate game night and movie night for our little community activities. And I think for the next movie night, we're going to try and go earlier. So
Okay.
instead of it being a nighttime movie for me, which is crazy late for someone out on the East Coast, especially with all these people watching the Snyder Cut, I'm thinking maybe what we'll try instead is like a noonday Pacific time, so that other people can maybe
It'll be
uh,
like a late afternoon for some people, like
right.
at least in the yeah. No, I hear you. It's in one of those. You gotta time zones are funny, and especially with the time difference, because not everybody changed time at the same time this year. If you notice, we did it in
So
mid March. When did we ever change
dumb.
time in the middle of mid March? Like I thought
I
it was
it doesn't matter. Daylight savings time should have been abolished a generation ago.
should all just move to Arizona, man. Arizona's got it right. Ari-
Except then we'd live
for-
in Arizona. Uh,
that's true.
Apologies to anyone who lives in Arizona. I'm from New Mexico. It
I
is what it is.
I already got heat in the summer. I don't want to. I don't want to hear it. They get out like into the 120s. Let's just say that.
Yep,
They
that
they
that
they
is not my speed.
they'll be like TK. It's cool where you are. I'm like no, but yeah, no, I get it.
Well, it
Uh,
is. It is 15 degrees cooler.
Cooler.
We're not gonna call that cool.
It's one of those you gotta. I mean, I'm not looking forward to the summer temperatures again, but you know what? It's coming. Spring is. You know, the good thing is we're getting a little bit of rain too, which is nice. That one is not. It is
Well,
pretty good for the weather.
Well, folks, thanks for hanging in there and hanging out. It's best of our week is where we get to kind of let our hair down and
Pretty much.
and give you some of the reels on what it's like just trying to tread some water in this crazy world of online content creation and YouTubery and stuff. So
Yeah.
from time to time, and especially when we're not like burning someone else's time, like if we've got a really good guest, it might turn into a game stream. I don't even know. Like we might need to like get our minds right. Um, taking the time just to kind of chill and hang out with you guys is always appreciated.
I'm appreciating very much the East Coast crew because they're definitely representing because it's if it's late here, it's really late for them. And Rolando's in the snow as well. Of course, they're getting all sorts of weather systems going on, and you know we just get sun. I don't want to. It sounds like I'm enjoying it, but to a certain point. But yeah, thanks to everybody, Gary, Aditya, John, of course, and everybody hanging out with us, and Aditya for kicking my butt with a little bit of Tetris on this Thursday
It was
evening.
an epic showdown.
It was. I'm gonna have to come back, so I will be practicing. I'll just say that. So you better be practicing. Let's just say
Do
that.
it. Because you will. Tetris is like my always in for. It's a game like I'm married to, right?
It
I
feels that
step
way.
out on Tetris to play other games, but
But you come
I can
back. You
always
always
come
come
back
back.
and jam some Tetris.
And she'll always take you back. No, appreciate it. So hope you guys are doing well. Take care. For Aditya, have a good day because I hope it's really early for him as well in the morning there. So we'll see you guys hopefully next Thursday. Hit up the chat, and of course, hopefully we can do something this weekend on Saturday with the SGGQ. Well, with the Patreon. So everybody over on the Discord channel. So we'll see you guys very soon. Good night, good morning, and have a good day. Bye bye, everybody.
Take care.